Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and in this video, I'm going to be reviewing American Horror Story Coven, episode 11, Protecting the Coven. Believe it or not, I have not been that critical. I've been pretty good with this series. Overall, I've not been very critical of it. I've not been very, mean to it or anything. I really haven't bashed it. I've actually, for the most part, said really, really positive things about it. This episode, though, I think this was the first episode that I had a lot of problems with. This episode was all over the place for me, completely jumbled together. Half of the stuff that happened, it made no sense at all to any story, and I was not a fan of it, because I love the direction they went in last week, and there could have been 100 things they could have done differently in this episode that I would have loved. The promo made this episode seem so much more interesting, but apparently, it didn't work. And there were so many things that could have happened, like in the beginning of the episode. For example, the flashback. I'm watching the flashback, and, I think it's the first flashback that I thought was completely unnecessary. Let's just get into the episode. So let's start off with the flashback. We get this flashback of Delphine and everything. And it's how her and her girls came to Europe and everything. I think they're going to Europe or something, or Paris. And they're living there. They find this chicken, and Delphine says, chop off the head. The girls don't want to do it. She chops off the head. This is supposedly how she got introduced to loving to cut up people. And this was just kind of strange for me. I was not a fan of this. It seemed way too similar to scenes we've had before, and it's no longer shocking. It's no longer interesting. Now that we're at the end of the series, we need to have really big things happen. And that's not really happening with this series, and I'm really not a fan of that at all. And I'm going to be talking about a lot of things that they did wrong in this episode. There are so many things they did wrong that they could have fixed in this episode, and no, they didn't. So let's just start off with the episode. We see Fiona and all of them. They're giving a funeral to Nan, and they don't seem upset about it at all. If I were to write this scene, I could have wrote it completely differently. Instead of them not really caring that Nan died, have Fiona and Marie trying to cover up the fact that they were the one that killed Nan, have them doing that, and then have Zoe kind of upset about Nan and everything. And that's what they should have done, is have her upset, because Zoe actually seemed to care about Nan. Zoe seemed to be a good friend to Nan, and at this point, Zoe is one of the few characters we have that actually has a soul. Everyone else in this show, besides Cordelia, is pretty much soulless at this point, and I'm really not a fan of that at all. I really would have wanted to see more of these characters and more depth to them, but whatever, what you gonna do. And then we get probably the most unnecessary return of them all, Queenie and Delphine. Delphine, fine. Delphine is great part of the show. Kathy Bates is one of the best parts on this show, so fine, she's back. Fine, whatever. Queenie, though, she put a gun in her mouth and ended her life, and supposedly she didn't die from that. I find it appalling that she didn't die from that. That would have been a great ending for her character. Her dying as a hero. That would have been a great ending. But I kind of feel like Ryan Murphy is almost worried about killing off his characters, because he feels we all love every single one of these characters. Yes, I loved Queenie, but I love the way she died as well. I would have wanted her to die that way. I really did. I did not miss her on the last episode, because I felt, you know what? That was a good way of killing her off. That would have been a perfect way of killing her off, in my opinion. I didn't really have a problem with them killing her off if they did, and I think it would have been fine. But apparently Ryan Murphy says, oh, no, we gotta bring her back. And, really, in this episode, Queenie should not have been in this episode. She really was just annoying in this episode, and I did not like her at all in this episode. But we do see that she has put Delphine back together, so Delphine is now all put back together. And, problem is, though, that what happened to this soul that Delphine was getting? It seemed like she was starting to actually care for the blacks and actually start to see that they're just like everyone else. I would have wanted to actually see Delphine do a good deed for once, but no, we have to have the same sadistic Delphine, which I hate. If anything, I would have wanted this to be Fiona and Marie be the big villains, and then Delphine coming in and actually trying to fix all of her mistakes. It seemed like that's what she was trying to do for a while, was trying to fix all of her mistakes. And now we completely lost that. You know, I really liked her voiceover scene. I thought it was pretty hilarious, the way it was, you know, she was going to each of them and talking about, you know, what they do and how they treat her. I thought that was pretty hilarious, in my opinion. But just her torturing that guy was completely unnecessary. She was crying in the last episode. She was crying. She was crying to that song, and Queenie was not in the room. Queenie was not there at the time. Queenie just shot herself. So Delphine actually meant that. And now they just abandoned that like it never happened. I am not a fan of that at all. That is by far one of the best scenes that Kathy Bates has done all season. And now they've completely ruined her character for me. Like, I was such a huge fan of Delphine. I loved her character. And now they've completely ruined her character for me. And I really just, that's one of the things in the episode that I hate. They ruined so many good characters in this episode. They really did, and I'll get to that. Speaking of ruining characters, let's go to the next scene, which had Zoe and Kyle. Now, this could have been a really good plot point, but no, it didn't work. They find Nan falling in the tub, and they think she could not have just fallen in the tub. It's too deep. So they think that, you know, it was you know, Fiona and Marie that killed her, but they don't really expand upon that. They just kind of just say, okay, they killed her, whatever. No, I would have wanted to see Zoe take her anger out on Fiona and do something really bad in this episode and really show that she is getting tired of Fiona and wanted to actually put an end to her. I would have wanted to see that, but no, we did not get that in this episode. Because as soon as this happens, Madison walks in and ends the whole thing. And Madison was just so annoying in this episode. So many characters were annoying. You know, Zoe and Kyle are together now, and Madison's jealous, so Zoe and Madison have a fight, whatever, and that's what happens. So what else happened in the episode? Delphine found out that she actually can possibly kill Marie because Spaulding came back. Now, apparently, again, they're afraid of killing off characters. Spaulding was completely unnecessary of a character. Him coming back was just like, what is going on here? Are you afraid of killing off characters? Like, you killed off all these characters in season 2. This is back to like season 1, which was fine. The season 1 was different though. In this season, this doesn't make any sense. I suppose it's because Delphine's a ghost, that she can see Spaulding, but it doesn't really make sense to me. It really does not. I mean, she could see like a spirit of Spaulding, but not actually Spaulding. It just doesn't make sense. So, you know, Spaulding's there and he's talking, this was also a very unnecessary return. He's talking to her about trying to possibly kill Marie, and apparently she can kill her with magic and Benadryl? Benadryl? Why would you kill somebody with Benadryl? That's ridiculous. I didn't find that clever at all. I found that ridiculous. Like, there are so many things in this episode that are completely ridiculous. Like the next scene that we get. Cordelia talks to Queenie. And Queenie's talking to, you know, Cordelia and everything. Going on about how she, you know, is really upset at is really pissed off at them, and really she has no right to be upset at all. Queenie has no right to be upset, and I think bringing her back was one of the stupidest decisions, because as soon as this happens, Cordelia actually tries to put a potion on her eyes again, to try to get the second sight back, but apparently it doesn't work. So she takes gardening clippers and takes out her eyes, and by far, that was one of the stupidest decisions that Cordelia has ever made. You could have easily had this whole plot of her trying to figure out how to do this spell, but no, she just takes out her eyes, and I thought she was going to die right then and there, but apparently she's probably going to live, because apparently nobody can die on the show. And Cordelia, you know, is one of the few people, now I do like the thing of her, you know, trying to be a hero and did this because she is a hero. I like that. I like that Fiona didn't really understand that, and that I really liked. I thought that was really good in my opinion. That was one of the best things about the episode, was what Cordelia did. And then after this, pretty much the episode kind of paid off over that, but then the ending really ruined it. So we see Myrtle Snow talking to Zoe, And Merle Snow is telling Zoe that, she and Kyle kind of have this connection going on. She really sees the love between the two of them. And she wants Zoe to actually leave the Coven so they can escape all of the craziness going on. And I am not a fan of this at all. This should have been how it ended. This should have been the finale. Fine, Zoe and Kyle going away, fine. That could have been a good finale. But them doing it in the middle, in 2 episodes before the finale, no. I'm not a fan of this at all. I really do not like that. Then we get probably the best scene of the episode. And I just love this scene because it was so funny. It really was very funny. We have Fiona and Marie go to Delphi Trust and the Axemen, and the Delphi Trust tells them they give up. If they sign this truce, then they will no longer go after the witches. They give up. There's nothing more they can do for them. And Fiona gives them a choice and says, well, why don't we just kill them all? So then the Axemen just starts killing all of them one by one. While this is happening, Fiona's just sitting there drinking her coffee and Marie's texting on her phone. Now, this scene was hilarious. If this scene were the whole episode, the episode would have been fine for me, but this scene was not the whole episode. I would have wanted more of this in the episode because this was absolutely hilarious how Marie was just casually texting on her phone and Fiona was just sipping her coffee like they didn't give a shit. They really didn't. It didn't seem like they did. And, he's killing all of them one by one. And then after this happens, you see all of them dead. And that was definitely really cool. And so Fiona is going to... Fiona goes up to the Axeman. She says she's going to repay him for what he did. And basically they're going to have sex and everything. Fine, whatever. The Axeman coming back, it was also unnecessary. However, I do kind of like their side plot of they want to actually get out of the Coven and buy a farm and everything. But again, they've ruined Fiona's character because she didn't have a soul last week and now she has a soul again. It doesn't make sense. When she's with the Axeman, she seems like all happy. But then when she's not with the Axeman, it seems like she's this completely different person. And I'm not a fan of that. I really don't like how they did that. I thought that was stupid too. And then the last 2 scenes of this episode, ugh. Stupid, stupid, stupid. The last 2 scenes of this episode were probably the stupidest stuff we've gotten on this show. So Delphine's ready to kill Marie at this point. She goes to, try to kill her with the medicine, and then that doesn't work. It doesn't seem to be working. So then she stabs her with a sword. That doesn't work. And then Marie falls down the stairs, and for some reason that knocks her out. What? You've been killed with Benadryl, a sword, falling down the stairs knocks you out when you just said you can't die? And then Spaulding tells her, oh, she can't die, but let's bury her anyway. That's the best thing to do. We're just going to bury her so she can't get out. It does not make any sense whatsoever. Them just killing off Marie, stupid. They should have waited till the last episode to kill her off. I knew Marie was going to die, but not this way. I didn't think Marie would die this way, this early. You have 2 episodes left, and Marie was probably the second main character of the show, and you just killed her off. And then we got the last scene of the episode with Zoe and Kyle going off to Disney World, and that's where they're staying. So that was the episode. And you know what? I was not satisfied with this episode at all. There were a lot of problems with this episode that I really would have wanted. I would have wanted these following plot points. 1, the main plot should have been, and it pretty much was, but we didn't get enough of this, is, Fiona and Marie trying to stop Delphi Trust and, doing whatever they can to do that. 2, Zoe finding out about Nan's death and trying to, take her revenge on Fiona. I would have wanted to see that. Delphine stuff, no. The Queenie stuff was stupid. The Cordelia stuff, I didn't like at first, and then I liked. This episode for me just was not that good. Maybe you guys liked the episode. Let me know what you thought of it. Do you think Marie's dead? I don't know. Seems like they can't kill a character off in the show. I'm sure next week Misty Day is going to somehow come back because they've been killing off characters and then they bring him back, and it's stupid as hell, but they do it anyway. I'm not a fan of this episode at all. Worst episode of this season. No. I just did not like it at all. Did you like anything about this episode? For me, I like the Delphi Trust stuff. I like what Cordelia did. And I like that we sort of got that with Cordelia. I like that, but not much about this episode. I really did like. That's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.